Take it away, Mac.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is 3IT Guys. We've been away for a little while, but we are back. I am the amateur, Mac Ritter. With us, as always, is the man with the plan, Daryl Alexander, and our resident guru, Jeremy Like. Today's topics are going to be a little dated. We spent a few weeks taking a little hiatus. We had a few things going on in the background, but we're back, and Jeremy is going to kick us off with his first topics of thoughts on small, fast-growing businesses.
All right. This is actually a timely topic for the three of us. This week we had the opportunity to exercise our muscle as MD Technologies and go help out a business in a city not so far away. And this is a business, I'm not going to name the name, but they've gone through some fairly rapid growth, and I just wanted to get out some observations and recommendations on businesses that are experiencing the same type of thing. So my observations, due to the rapid growth, you know, they've got a hodgepodge of equipment, or they had a hodgepodge of equipment. We've remedied a chunk of that this week. You know, because of that hodgepodge of equipment, bottlenecks were being caused because, you know, they didn't know what they didn't know. And, you know, an Ethernet switch looks like an Ethernet switch, and, you know, people may not be able to tell if it's a 10100 or a gigabit switch.
Hey,
but
you plug it in, it gets blinky lights, it works, right?
Right. So you know, it's it was pretty amazing the difference that we were able to make for them in a relatively short amount of time, just by having the knowledge to you know, look at things, make observations, make recommendations to the management, and, you know, get ready to start changing a few things out here and there. So, you know, my overall recommendations, you know, if you're a business that's experiencing some rapid growth, you know, get a small growing IT business in to help you as early on as possible. You know, if you can get in with a growing IT business, you know, you might be able to lock in some cheaper rates because they're as hungry to grow as you are.
Hungry.
If you're working with a small IT business, your two businesses can grow in parallel, and, you know, that, like I said, that growth can be mutually beneficial. And, you know, look past your local area. If you're in a larger city, hiring a tech from a nearby city may be a great solution for you and for them. You know, there's no rules, you know, chiseled in stone saying that you have to hire the IT people around the corner from your business. It may be convenient in some instances, but that doesn't mean they know their rear from a hole in the ground. So, you know, that's kind of my thought on that. You know, there are many more recommendations that could be made on this subject, but
well, definitely, like, I know, like, my first initial thought of walking in was, wow, this was thrown together in a hurry. Like,
right.
This was not planned out very well. Whoever did set this up, obviously they did have some knowledge.
Right.
Right. You know, it wasn't, you know, anything too great, not to bash on whoever did set it up, but it just looked rushed. It looked like someone said, hey, I need this up and running today, make it work. I don't care what it looks like, how it looks, or if it runs that great, we just need it to work. And because, yeah, I walked in and it was like, wow, I've never seen cable management this bad. I mean, you get cables running across the floor, and, you know, switches at the bottom of people's feet, you know, where they could kick them and step on them, and I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy.
And even worse, rolling chairs over them.
Yeah,
that's a good way to kill cables pretty quick.
Well, that, you know, they're right in the middle of, you know, walkways that are used very often, you know,
high traffic areas.
Yeah, and it was a little bizarre, but, you know, hey, you know, we can come in, we can show them what we can do, and the moral of the story is definitely, like, if you're starting up a company and you know you're going to need some help, fork out the money and get it done right, because it's going to save you a ton of time and a ton of money in the future and in the long run. And
as well as headaches and gray hair.
Yeah, and it's going to, you know, if you're a business that relies on technology, downtime is your biggest enemy, and you definitely don't want to have any downtime. So if you're starting up, hire a few guys, you know, maybe you got some local guys, or maybe you have to call in some fancy corp and have them come set you up, but it is worth the time and the money, and it's going to save you a lot of headaches later.
Definitely.
What do you think, Daryl? Oh, man, we can't hear you. All right. Cool. Cool. Daryl, we can't hear you. Oh, no. All right, well, I guess I'll jump into my topic. So this is a little bit of older news, but the new iPhone 7 is rumored to be a beast of a machine. I'm trying to pull up the link right here at the moment. All leaks rumored and details for the iPhone 7, iPhone 7 Plus, and/or iPhone 7 Pro. Ooh. Basically, the new A10 chipset is supposed to be a manimal. I guess it's supposed to be blowing people's minds away, and they're going to start introducing more. The standard, I believe the standard was, what, 8 gigs and 16 gigs for iPhones?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Storage. Yeah, now they're going to go from 16 to 32. And I still don't like how low they keep it, but I know that their game plan is try to push more people into using the cloud.
Yep.
Using iCloud and storing all their stuff up there. But I still don't like the fact that you, to my knowledge anyway, you can't put a removable SD card for more storage into the phone, and that's not cool. I mean, hey, Daryl's back.
I'm back.
Hey.
I'm back. So yeah, but the new A10 chipset is supposed to just make this phone ridiculous. Quote, to make the phone so fast it might burn your fingers. So we're supposed to see Apple's best handset coming out. Oh, I don't have a release date exactly. I know any Apple fans out there might be slaying me right now. I don't know, but it's supposed to be coming out later this year. Well, soon this year, actually. When do they usually come out? September, October, November?
Something like that.
Yeah, they're coming out here pretty shortly. But I also did just see a review on the new the Galaxy S Note, or the Galaxy Note 7, and that phone looks, that whole lineup that they have, the Galaxy Edge, and the Note 7 is like, that whole lineup is pretty smashing. It's going to give Apple a pretty big run for their money. But yeah, another note is they're starting to make 256 gigabyte SD cards, so you can hold a lot of storage in your phone now. Remember, it used to be like $100 for like a 32 gig. So now they've got all the way up to 256. So you can pretty much keep your whole computer on your phone if you want, as far as like photos and music. Yeah, you can take anything with you now, plug it into your phone, and you're good to go. But of course, not with Apple. But we're getting there, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Daryl?
Yes, sir.
Cisco, Disco, Duck.
Cisco.
Oh,
So,
no.
Mac, you and I, we took some beta Cisco courses. We took some Cisco courses that had beta certification. And I know a couple of people with Cisco certification. And none of them have Cisco jobs.
None of them. No.
Cisco has its own proprietary software and whatever. And to reiterate on what Jeremy was talking about, we ran across 2 1 gigabit managed Cisco switches. And I'm like, wow. I don't remember none of the commands from classes. Do you, Matt?
No, it's one of the things, if you don't use it, you kind of lose it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can brush up on it. I know Jeremy, he loves Cisco just like he loves Windows. So,
The thing with
but
Cisco is like, yeah, I had those classes, but they were literally over a year ago, and then I took another one, but it was 6 months ago. But the problem is I haven't worked with any Cisco equipment since then. I haven't worked with any real live Cisco equipment ever, not even in class really. So it's
yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know anything. Yeah, I've had a couple classes, but if you threw me something, I'm lost. Google
So
would be
this
my friend at
guy,
that point.
I got a phone call a couple of days ago from this guy that I ran across at a entrepreneur boot camp, and they had the idea of the stadium experience. And I got to research, and I said I might can help them out. Got to research, and Cisco like got the stadium experience, but it's all their stuff. So my question to you guys is: we know Cisco proprietary. We know they're a force out there in terms of the networking stuff. How well, in comparison to other products, is Cisco holding their own ground? Being like that, you mentioned with the phones, Mac, and whether or not iPhone will catch up to that Samsung that you're gonna buy. Oh, so do you think Cisco gonna be able to hang it out, or is somebody, because they can make a product and a lot of
Um,
engineers reverse engineer what they did and come up with their own product. So you think they're
yeah,
gonna be able to hang tough?
I think Cisco's always going to be able to hang tough. And honestly, like on the West Coast, I know like in California, Cisco is in bed everywhere, all over the place. And at least from what I've heard anyway. But I know like out here, I know the previous district that I worked for, they had all HP switches and gear. And their shell was very similar to Cisco. I asked
Yeah.
some of the guys that were setting it all up, and they said, for the most part, it's pretty much the same. I mean, some of the commands are different, but it's all the same pretty much. So I don't know. I think really it might just come down to price, especially with like school districts and whatnot. Pretty much if it works and it's got a good reputation, if it's a few bucks cheaper, they're probably going to spring for it. But I mean, I don't think Cisco's going to go anywhere. I don't think it's going to fall off a map or anything like that. I think it's always going to be around, personally. But I know, yeah, like I haven't used any Cisco equipment here. I mean, maybe just Cisco equipment in Michigan just isn't that. Some companies use them, but you know, like I
It's the
said,
snow.
it's the snow. Well, like I said, I think it just kind of comes down to price. Hey, uh, if I can get all the same equipment that I can through HP, but it costs $1,000 cheaper, why not go for it? So.
Okay. Guru?
Well, I think the what Mac was saying is pretty accurate. There are a couple ways that Cisco could get disrupted out of some places, and that's because of software-defined networking being an up-and-coming thing. And a lot of it, as I'll talk about in a later topic of mine, a lot of it is open source. So, price is a big thing. I know the state government here in Michigan uses a lot of Juniper equipment from people I've talked to. Pricing is a big thing, but it's also, what are the big establishments using in a given locale, and if they're standardized on one type of equipment, then you're going to have a lot more talent that can walk in and support that type of equipment. With that being said, there's a lot of stuff that's freely available that is very capable. It's just not as well known. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen in the next 5-10 years. But with more of a push being made on open source stuff, I believe well, just this last week, there was a thing in Washington. They pushed through, I don't know if it was a law or a set of guidelines to get the government organizations to consider more open source software. And it's a great first step. How far that will actually go remains to be seen. This is, really the first thing we've had in the U.S. that's kind of pushed us in that direction. Another one of the places that we're playing catch up to Europe and other places in the world. But yeah, I think Cisco, they're always going to be around. They may go through a change, much like IBM went through in the 80s, and Microsoft has been going through lately, where they sort of pivot their business focus. But they're never going to go away completely unless they really get some lousy management in there.
Wow.
So that's my 2 cents on Cisco, I guess.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Next.
All right, I guess that's me. Another topic that is kind of timely. It kind of ties into my first topic, working with a small business. I had heard about this product called Domotz a few months ago. I guess back in the spring. This was an established company. They had bought out an app called Fing, F-I-N-G, that was like an Android, and I don't know if it was on iOS or not, but basically what it would do is it would scan your Wi-Fi network and give you a list of devices on the network. So what Domotz is it's a network monitoring and remote tech support system. It has an agent, and this agent software will run on NAS boxes from Synology, QNAP, or Netgear, as well as a version that will run on a Raspberry Pi. Domotz sells they call it the Domotz box, I believe, and they've got a Domotz Pi, which is a less expensive version. And basically, it's a little device you hook up to your network, and you'll be able to get all kinds of information about your network. And I do have a demo for this. So, other things, they've got a dealer program, and right now I've enrolled in the free trial for 30 days. But after that, the cost is $3 a month per network that you're monitoring. So it's really inexpensive, and I could see where it could be beneficial when we're supporting other networks. So I'm going to attempt to do a screen share here. I can remember which option it was under. Well, yeah, thanks. That's not helping, guys.
I was just getting ready to hit that one, like, dong, it's over.
Settings, that's not it. Screen share. Okay, so we'll jump over here to screen number 2. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're seeing here is the dashboard interface, and their web interface is in beta. They do have an Android and iOS app for this, but this is kind of cool. It shows all my important devices are online. I've got a device list here, and it will. I've programmed some of these in to have a location where the device is at. I don't want to dwell on this page too long because it's got MAC addresses and things on it. under your network, you can actually do a speed test. So I've run this twice since I got the little agent software up and running. We'll see what it's looking like now that we're doing this broadcast, but this is kind of cool to be able to do this remotely, and just kind of gauge where somebody's network is at. And it gives you a nice little graph and everything. So it kind of peaked when I ran that at 720, and now it's gone back down. But 38 megabit download isn't too shabby, considering that I was getting 15 a month ago.
Oh my Lanta.
So it gives you a route analysis utility, and you can select a service, say Google, and the number of packets you want to send to it, and it'll do a little test, and it'll spit back some information here. This takes about 10 seconds, it says. And it gives you your loss amount, average, and let's see, from the machine to the router to the ISP and to the target. So that's kind of cool. There are alerts that you can set up. So if the agent software loses a connection, it'll send me an email when it comes back online. And if it discovers any new devices on the network, it'll send me an email.
Oh, see, that's where the money making is right there.
And then, collaboration. I can invite other people to see this information. There's a site details, which has information about my stuff there. And then you've got a reports. So you can get a monthly report and a report of all your devices on your network, which has MAC addresses and different things of that nature. So I was just thoroughly impressed with this thing, and it's like, okay, well, I could see where this could really be a great thing. We've got the knowledge between us. We could roll our own Raspberry Pi setup, load the software, and deploy these at customer sites, and have a very, very useful tool at our disposal.
Yes.
So I'm going to stop the screen share here. So, I mean, what do you guys think of that? I thought it was pretty cool myself.
That is pretty neat. I mean, especially if we can use it on the go.
Right.
That's definitely a huge tool and something that you can sell to people too. Like, hey, this is what I'm using. This is what it's brought back to me. Now we've been able to. This is the data we've collected. Now we can definitely suggest.
Right.
Upgrades or whatever. We have got some data to present. So.
Right. Well, and with having the thing installed on my own network, we can go in there and we can actually show them instead of just trying to explain it to them. We can actually show them, what we can see and how this will help us to help them. And I think there's some major value in that.
So you gonna take Thursday off from work and come sell this pitch to the client? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Yeah.
You know what it's all about, though.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice, though. we gonna have to talk after the podcast, sir.
We can do that. That's not a problem. So, all right. So, Mr. Alexander, you are up on your second topic. Or are we going to Mac first?
We can do me. This is just a fun little doohickey, but again, this is a little bit older news. Like I said, some of you guys out there that may be watching, some super nerds were able to get. We all know that Windows and Linux are attempting to work together anyway to run some Linux applications on top of Windows, or in Windows rather, Windows 10. But some super nerds were able to actually get Ubuntu's Unity desktop running in Windows 10. They did come across a few snags. They did not have Xserver was not included, and I can't give a good definition of my own, so I just kind of Googled a little bit. For any of you guys that don't know what Xserver is a program in the X Windows system that runs on local machines. The computers use this directly and by users and handles all access to the graphics cards, display screens, and input devices, yada, yada, yada. So it gives you a nice little GUI. But these guys were able to actually get Ubuntu desktop running in Windows 10. And I just thought that was really cool. Like I said, I don't know how to do that. But they didn't have very much success. Not everything ran very well. There were a lot of programs that did not, take off super good. It was really slow and limited. And like I said, they had to use a different, an open source Xserver. But like I said, it was pretty slow and limited. But Microsoft also said that their main goal and focus was not really to let this happen. So they're not really doing anything to make it better or to support it or anything like that. Their main goal was not to, not their main goal, but they didn't really want to, their main focus wasn't to be able to run graphical user interfaces in here. But like I said, some super nerds, they must have fiddled with some code and got some things to work. So I just thought that was kind of cool. Like, man, I mean, I knew people were going to try to do it, but hey, that's yeah. So any of you guys that are still messing around with it or playing with it, hey, there is hope. There is a lot of hope.
Nice.
Ransomware.
Oh.
It's everywhere.
Oh, there's an irony to that. My first topic was about Cisco. So about 2 weeks ago, I did a couple webinars. Cisco Talos. Talos. And the webinar was on ransomware, data held hostage. If you're looking for it, you can find the link on cyberry.it, and we are not paid sponsors of Cyberry, but we are proud supporters of Cyberry.
Mm-hmm.
So the ransomware and data held hostage, what people coming across now is getting their systems encrypted, and you have to pay a ransom to get the key to unencrypted or decrypted. And the overview of the ransomware was he gave like a historical timeline and how people were able to just like go on another computer and Google and basically get to their command line or bypass the activation of the ransomware in the OS and solve the issue themselves. And he went from simple encryption all the way up to what they have now, which is the MD5 or the SHA-128, and so it's harder to try to get your information back. All in all, they do share one ideology: don't pay the ransom. You have companies, banks. It's a little group somewhere in Europe. They target a lot of small banks with hacking their stuff. And they said they'd rather collect a whole bunch of smaller amounts than try to hack the one big payday. And so, but the ransomware in general, anytime you get stuff on, I found out the one that was out a couple years ago was the FBI. The FBI virus and I just go to a restore point on Windows and erase it. So it's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that, or you may have to put in some work. But for those viewers out there, those end users, you got to start doing things like getting knowledge about how to set up your browsers. You can take off third-party cookies. You can have alerts. I'm still for, even though it's paid security applications, Windows Defender is on your computer. If you're running Windows, use it. If you don't have something, use it. You got free versions of AVG, Avast, and some other ones. So they give you real-time protection opposed to you just like what we do with Malwarebytes is open and run the program. So they have free versions of real-time protection and start hardening. That's what they call it in IT, hardening your computer, or learn about how you can harden it with the tools on there, so that you don't have to be running across all these viruses and phishing scams through your email and stuff like that. But the ransomware overview, for those on the intermediate or learning level, I really do suggest that you look at it, take a preview, and like I said, it's posted on cybrary.it, and it was something really, really load of information for you to ascertain and add to your repertoire of tools if you're trying to be anywhere in the IT community.
Oh yeah, but I mean the best defense against that is
don't use a computer. No.
Well, not just that, but
don't use Windows.
Don't use Windows. Okay, but stay to trusted sites. If you're going to like some shady websites and things like that, you kind of can't. It's to be expected that you're going to get infected. Or if you're like a lot of users and your inbox, whether you're using Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail or even AOL still, a lot of users, they just open all their emails. And I know like me and some other trained professionals, hey, we don't open every single email. If I see an email that I don't recognize, typically it just gets deleted. Or if you do send me something, I'm not going to open up, like if someone sends me a resume or something like that, just hypothetical, I'm not going to open up your shit. Okay? It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to open up any images that you send me or anything like that. Now, there are a bunch of websites that I do get like a newsletter from, things of that nature. For the most part, these are websites that are trusted, and I know, hey, if I open this, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get anything crazy. So, but yeah, a lot of it is just, hey, don't go to shady websites. Stick to the norm. If you think that a web page might be infected or might be giving you something, get out of that web page. Run a little scan on your computer. And I've heard from a lot of other guys that some other professionals that if you're running Windows, hey, Windows Defender or Security Essentials, whatever they got running now these days, they all say, hey, as long as you stick to the norm and you don't really stray off the beaten path, it does its job. It's good to go. Now, other IT professionals are going to be like, no, you need like Malwarebytes or some sort of software on there, something extra to help you out. But yeah, stick to the norm. If you're going to like cloning DVDs and downloading, pirating music and movies and things like that, you're going to get some shit. Let's be honest. So
yes,
you did it to yourself.
Okay, so. One thing I know I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but I cannot stress this enough. If you're using Windows and you've got a NAS box or other Windows computers on your home network that you're connecting to a file share on, don't leave those connections active all the time. Because if you do get ransomware on your computer, it'll not only affect your computer, but those file shares that you're connected to.
Your whole network is compromised.
And then you're completely screwed. So, it's just a cascading mess of being screwed. And, it just... One computer with ransomware is bad enough, but if you cascade that out, or the shared network drive where you're storing backups for all of your machines on the network gets encrypted, man, you're going to have a really bad day.
Yes.
So, don't leave those connected all the time. Excuse me. It'll save you headaches in the long run.
Yeah, basically those kind of devices, stuff that you don't use every day, connect as needed. I mean,
Right.
Or if you get a little NAS box or something, it is what it is. But if you got like 10 different devices, but they don't all have to be connected, why have them connected all the time? I mean,
right.
Take them down. So, but yeah, either way, yeah. Okay, also kind of an older topic, but I know Tesla has been in the media lately, and not of a whole lot of good things. Kind of some negative stuff has been happening for Tesla. But I do know in the recent week or two, Tesla's been looking up. But Tesla did suffer its first fatal accident while using the Autopilot. But to Tesla's defense, they say that it is not. Oh, Daryl disappeared. Oh, there he is. Tesla said that it was not directly Tesla's fault. There was kind of a glitch in the system, but the driver was not paying attention at the time of the accident. According to the article, the driver was watching a movie on a portable DVD player, and so really didn't even see or know it was happening or coming, and he wasn't paying attention. So Tesla encourages you, if you are using the Autopilot feature, to still remain vigilant, not get complacent, keep your eyes on the road, all of those things. But this certain individual had been using the Autopilot for a long time, and he was very comfortable with it, and it was really great. To get into the accident, according to the article that I read, what happened was said driver was driving down the road, and a truck and trailer, was making a left-hand turn, and I guess the trailer was mostly white, and so the sensors picked up, and since it was so high, they thought that the sensors read it as like a road sign, like an overhead sign, and so the car did not brake or try to maneuver around it or anything like that. It just kept going forward. So that, that was a little bit of a glitch in the system, but had the driver been paying attention, the accident would have been avoided altogether. So, and it kind of stinks because I believe the victim here was a former Navy SEAL, and that kind of sucks, being a former operative myself, to see a guy go out like that, especially I'm sure he's been through, the ringer. Just kind of sucked to hear that he had an accident like that and went out. But again, Tesla, firmly states, hey, if you're going to use the Autopilot, be aware, keep your eyes on the road, pay attention. It's not perfect yet, even though that's what they're aiming for. I know a lot of the critics are saying, well, Autopilot isn't ready yet. It shouldn't be out on the road, this and that and the other. But to Tesla's credit, this is the first and only fatal accident that I know of thus far. And really, it was Tesla's fault, but again, like I said, if the driver had been paying attention, the accident more than likely would have been avoided altogether.
Nice.
But Tesla's still on the uprise. They're still coming out with cars and doing their thing, and honestly, they're leading the industry as far as automated cars. So it is kind of cool. I mean, if I had one, I'd probably drive the crap out of it and use it too. So I don't know if I'd be watching movies, but I'm sure I'd be playing Clash of Clans or something.
Alrighty then.
So that was my third topic. And again, I know this happened a bit ago. I want to say over a month ago. Yeah, June 30th. So it was a while ago. But these were the topics that I had for when we were supposed to air this episode.
Get her done.
It's done now. But I like, you know what? If I had a Tesla, I would use the Autopilot probably all the time. So, but it's an unfortunate event, an unfortunate accident. But yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. Guru.
All right. So to sort of bring my topic around to our earlier discussion of Cisco. My third topic is about the Open vSwitch. Open vSwitch. It's a virtual switch. It's used a lot in virtualization, but also it's becoming more and more common as part of a software-defined networking setup. And so the article that I had found on this is that Open vSwitch is becoming a Linux Foundation collaborative project. So it's getting a little push, and there's this can only be a good thing for them. It's being developed in the open, and the rate of speed of the Linux kernel is picking up, and since this is included, or parts of it are included with the Linux kernel, this can only be a good thing. So one of the interesting things that they mentioned in this article was that one of the developers is looking to continue to improve the performance and compatibility with different platforms, including Microsoft's Hyper-V. And that's important because I think we've discussed in previous episodes that Microsoft was a little late to the party as far as offering cloud virtualization, and Azure and Hyper-V and all this kind of stuff came quite a while after VMware and some of the other big players were out there. But as of a report earlier this year, a full 25% of the virtual machines being deployed on Microsoft Azure are running Linux. So that's I think there's a little bit of irony to that. Considering that back in the day, Monkey Boy Ballmer referred to Linux as a cancer, and now Microsoft is making some fat cash off from people running Linux. So,
you and I had a conversation just earlier about it just works.
Right. It does just work, and
yeah, it just works.
So, and the price is right, So,
right. Donations.
But there's the main website for Open vSwitch is openvswitch.org. So if you are interested in finding out more about that, or want to download a copy and run it in a virtual machine just to mess around with it and see what you can do with it, it's kind of interesting, and definitely would give you more options than the limited implementation of a virtual switch that's built into something like VirtualBox. So it's interesting project. Take a look at, know about, and you never know when you may run into it.
Nice.
Give Cisco a little run for their money.
Quack, quack. Alrighty then. My third topic: taking care of your precious jewels.
Oh my!
Not those diamonds you have, Matt, and not those sapphires you have, Jeremy. Your laptops and desktops. Your connection to the world. If you are agoraphobic and your connection to the world is through the internet, you got to take care of your portal, your doorway, your access. I found two little nifty articles. One was www.apartmenttherapy.com, and the other one was www.techrepublic.com. And if you just search in their bars for 8 ways for tips for protecting your laptop during this summer heat, I know where we at, it's been actively hot and humid. And I know a lot of careless end users pay a lot of money for nice laptops only to misuse them, whether they have the uh, charging cord bent all types of crazy ways, or they're in bed with big comforters smothering all the intake valves that help cool the computer down. So those are some things you want to keep in mind. Your desktop, keep them the fans and stuff on the back of the towers, keep them free of dust and debris, especially like if you vacuum and got pet dander, smoke, and different things like that is very important, because when they conk out on you, a lot of times the repairs might be just as much as what you paid for the computer. So make sure you keep your computer functioning top notch, keep the environment cool, humidity low. If you can't afford an air conditioner, get a dehumidifier. You know, one step at a time. Don't be in a sweat box, thinking you're gonna run some nice equipment and your stuff is just suffocating. You got to be on point and make sure that you don't have to always know the tech end of it. You just got to have common sense. If common sense was so common, why don't everyone have it? I heard that somewhere. So yeah, those are two things I wanted to touch on taking care of your precious jewels. I know that we don't take care of our stuff, we won't be able to do this podcast like we're doing. We'll be like sending snail mail. How you doing, Matt?
What's up, sucker?
So with that, that's all I had to add on my third part. I want everybody to have the ability to be able to watch our podcast whenever you want.
All right. Yeah, definitely take care of your equipment. I mean, that's a crazy thing is a lot of people take all their technology for granted. You know, to me, it's like even my phone, I keep very good care of. I always keep it in a nice case, and I make sure not to drop it, and all those things. If I do drop it, I always look like a buffoon because I always like try to stick my foot out to try to brace the fall. You know, it hits my foot and then bounces off. You know, it takes away some of that force. So, yeah, no, I'm really careful with all my electronics. I still got an old laptop that runs like a top, and I've cleaned it several times and taken good care of it. And it's like, this stuff's expensive. Take care of it. I mean, plus, you know, how many times have you left the house? Have you left the house without your phone? You just felt naked. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Oh man, where's my cell phone? And imagine if you broke it, and it's going to be at least a week before you can get it back. Then, you know, or your laptop or your desktop, anything like that. So, yes, take care of your equipment. Take care of your equipment. If there's any
absolutely
League fans out there, they'll know what I'm talking about. All right, well, I don't have anything to add. Anybody else?
Nope.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, less than an hour. Look at that.
Yeah, 48 minutes. That's amazing, considering all three of us were talking pretty good. So.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, we should be getting back to a normal schedule and being on once a week. We appreciate all of you that do watch the episode, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Okay.
Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.
Peace.